Marriage is complicated.
I vomited on the spot. I was like, immediate divorce.
That's why they're here to talk about it.
And he thinks that burping is unacceptable, but farting is fine.
Nicole Pellegrino.
My thigh sweat is chafing together.
Caroline Crawford Patterson.
You're making it so difficult for me to do anything here.
Honey, we're home.
What if it's bad?
I'll be able to taste. Okay. Ah! Okay, do we just go?
Oh,
Are
it's
we
still
ready?
fine. It's a little acidic.
Whatever. I can't tell.
I actually kind of like it. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, do we go?
Hello. We're already going, I guess.
Oh, yeah, but we can start on it. Okay, introduce.
Okay. Hi, guys. I am Caroline Crawford Patterson.
And I'm Nicole Pellegrino.
And this is
Honey, We're Home.
Yay. This is our first real videoed episode.
Yes. Oh my God, I cannot wait. We're going to have video footage for you guys.
We
you
are.
honestly should watch this instead of listen.
I agree, because I do think that, like, yeah, there's just a visual element.
There's a visual element. You get to see what outfits Caroline's wearing each week. She's like our fashion girly. Like, I can wear stuff too, but like,
Don't put yourself down.
I
You
know.
look gorgeous.
You know, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're glowing.
You're glowing.
Okay.
That's going to become our drinking game. Whenever we say something mean about ourselves,
we have to
take
drink.
a sip.
We'll be shit-faced by the end of the
Awesome.
episode.
Cheers.
That's like my humor.
Mm-hmm.
We need to catch up. We're currently recording this before we're going to release the podcast.
Fully, yeah.
But it's still going to be in the fall, so like it's still relevant. So we need to catch up. We're in the fall right now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
We're in the fall.
Newsflash, we're in the fall season. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know how into sports John is. He played football.
Yeah. We both have very interesting scenarios because Mike literally works in sports.
Yeah.
So, like, does he do fantasy?
Yeah, I mean, yes. He literally works for a fantasy football company.
But you know how sometimes you, like, don't want to do what you do for work for fun?
He does. Lucky me!
Okay, so John doesn't do fantasy.
Oh, lucky.
But he bets. Like, he does sports betting. But, like, here's the thing. And this is, I'm going to have to take a sip because I'm, like, I was such an idiot. Like, I am kind of a hard ass. And,
yes.
You know, I don't really, you literally just heard me on the phone.
Yeah, oh my God. Caroline walked into this recording, you guys, like having an argument with John. I was like, oh my God, this is too good. I, of course, instead of like being a good friend and being like, what's wrong? I was like, save it for the episode.
Literally.
But like, hey, it's authentic.
It is authentic. And like, I am just not gonna, I don't know how to say this because I don't get like infuriated by stuff, but like, I know, like, there are certain pressure points and I am like gonna hold you accountable for like that pressure point, just like, but John does it for me too. And like sometimes the communication one is like a big one. And so like even if I don't like fully care, it's like maybe more sometimes like the principle of the thing where I'm like, because if this were like a bigger, if it were a bigger issue that we were arguing about and it was the same like vague communication led to like confusion and delay, like with plans later, it would have been way bigger of a deal.
Right. No, this seemed like a very tame argument. Like, it seemed like a very mature, like, easy one. Not, like, I feel like I'm painting the picture of you walking and, like, storming it. It was very, like, whisper arguing.
Oh, yeah. We were whisper arguing, but we were, like, in here as well. So, anyways, I'm, like, kind of a hard ass. And so, like, when John would sports bet, I was like, betting is a bad habit. Like, do not do it.
Horrible one.
And like, he likes Vegas and stuff, so I was just always so negative. Keep in mind, like, he does not do fantasy football. Like, he doesn't even have a team.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Like, but I was, like, betting, no, that's a no-go. Until somebody asked me one time, like, how much does John bet? And I was like, oh, like, $5.
Uh-oh.
And, right, well, they were like, that's, like, not even real.
Oh, he actually only bets like $5?
No, like literally. Like, he'll bet like $5 to like $15.
Okay, that's not that bad. Like,
I know, I had to eat my words.
You're fine. Yeah. Like, John's fine for that.
That's his fantasy, I think, because I think it gets him interested in the games.
Yeah, and it's the fun. Like, that is a very controlled. Like, I would support that if I were you. Like, that's fine. Like, it just helps get it. Like you said, get him interested in the games. Mike is does drafts, multiple weekends of drafts. This is like a very
Parties?
big pain point in our like weekends, like draft weekends with his friends. And like, here's my thing. If you're not going to plan extravagant date nights for us, I can barely get you to plan a restaurant, make a reservation. Why am I then finding out that your title, I made a TikTok about this the other day for Betches. Why am I finding out that your title of your draft league is commissioner? That I learned is the leader of
I
the
know
league.
what that is because I watched the league, the show. So now I know what that is.
God, why? I don't even know what that is.
It was like kind of funny.
Oh,
I don't know. I
okay.
watched it in
Maybe I'll
college.
check
Okay,
it out.
wait. So he's the planner.
So you got to be able to like plan for that. Like that, you've got to exhibit like planning skills.
This is so good.
No, I'm literally like, commissioner? Hun, I can barely get you to commission me. Like, what the fuck? So like, I don't know if anybody else out there can relate. This is just another reason like I need to marry John.
We can switch.
Like last episode when I re-listened, I was like, oh, I like fully wanted to marry John in the beginning.
Yeah. No, well, Mike also was like, hey, Nikki, like, what time are you going to be home? Like, we have dinner. And, like, that's how I am. Like, we have such opposite love languages because, like, I am sure, like, one time you guys, John really did say this to me. We're getting so off topic. Really.
We'll get back on.
Okay. I said, what would you do? Like, I was like, what would you do if you didn't, like, have me to, like, I don't know if I said challenge you, like, or like what, like, you know, what if you had someone that was like more easygoing? I'm not like high maintenance, but like I'm a pusher. My love language is like literally
You are.
I'm a pusher. And it's not just John, like my friends, my siblings,
But
my
it's a good
parents,
thing.
like I think that's in my personality. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying I have like nothing to grow from or work on, but that is my personality. He knew what he was
You
getting
have
into.
pulses of pushing though. You go from pushing to like silence. Push, at least for me.
That's nice. Thank you. I've had to learn to like not, because you don't want to be like aggressive.
Yeah.
But it's more like challenging. Like,
Yes.
I don't want to see somebody not do
You're a
what they're,
perfectionist.
well, I don't want them to settle for less than what they're capable of
Bingo.
because they don't like, they're scared of what? Like confrontation or challenge.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's not good enough. Like you should do what you're capable of doing. And like, I'm not a good friend or a good partner if I'm not going to help you get there.
That's why we work well together, because
true.
I'm terrified of confrontation, but I surround myself with people who are good at it and who enjoy it.
But I feel
Sick
like you're
people.
a pusher too. You do the same
I
thing with me. I think
am.
you do the push release.
I
with
know.
me.
I'm a chameleon. Like, I'll match your energy. So if you're
Okay.
pushing, I'll push back.
Oh, fantastic, folks. Okay, so I said to John, I said, what would you do if you like didn't have me? And John dead ass was like,
Daily question.
he was like, I'd probably have such a peaceful life.
No, let me rephrase that,
No,
John.
I jumped in and I said, you'd
Boring.
be bored as shit.
Bored
Yeah.
as shit. If they
I
didn't
said, you
have
would be bored as shit.
every relationship needs a pusher who's going to plan the fun stuff, who's going to be Captain Fun. If they didn't have us, they'd be bored. I'm sorry.
100%.
Like, Mike would sit at home and do absolutely nothing. And, like, his best friend would be Lou. I mean, that already is happening. Like,
No, but like,
he just would.
I'm going to ask you something, and like, because this is something I stand by, even though like it's controversial, because I run this by everybody, like
Mhm.
everybody that I know, like in a relationship. Like, you feel like Mike pushes you and like you push Mike, like to be a better person,
Yeah.
like, to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Right. The only couples I know where they don't challenge each other, I'm like, that's a shame.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of couples I know that don't challenge, that are just, like, fine doing them. Like,
The controversial part is like, I don't think that it's that good. Like, I
Yeah,
think that if
no.
maybe you found your person in your late 30s, that's
Yeah.
different because you probably push and challenge yourself and you've already
to get
probably
to where you are.
established that in life.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, that's true.
but when you meet somebody really young, I think it's
But-
necessary to have someone.
Agreed. But in their minds, they might just want to be chilling. Like, they might be okay with that. And we can't wrap our heads around it
Can't.
because we would never.
But also, like, do you want to be the same person at 85 that
God,
you are
no.
today?
God, no. That's the whole, like, growing together thing.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to just grow together and push it. Like, that's when you get in a relationship like young, like us, young, like in college, literally young, you have to be able to identify that like the only way it'll work, I think, is if you can identify that each other like wants to head in the right direction that you want to head in and wants to be driven, like that's why I always say like Mike and I didn't know what we were going to be in our careers. We were floundering around majors in college, like, but we both knew our qualities and our character.
Yeah. That
so
stuff
that's why it
doesn't change.
works.
Like,
Yeah.
your interests change, your hobbies change. Like,
sometimes people change though.
sometimes people change, but like, hopefully, if you're like based on like the right fundamental stuff, you change in like the same direction.
Yeah.
Like, as John and I get older, like we have more hobbies in common and like more interests in common, I think.
Yeah.
And that's probably a byproduct of like living
You're
together and being
fusing
married.
into
We're
one.
fusing into one. But
Just a
like,
good thing, but can also be a bad thing.
our individuality remains the same. Like, I like to ask John to like every now and then, like, wait, like, what is your favorite food right now? Like, what's your favorite thing to do right now? 'Cause
Relearn things
I
about
love to
them.
relearn things.
Ugh.
Because also I realized once, like, kind of like 2 years out of college, that we were both like nervous to switch up what our like favorite things were because we'd already kind of like attached ourselves
Fallen
to
into
something.
a pattern. Yes.
And we didn't feel free to like totally switch it up. Like, you
Yeah.
can love okra one day and like not the next, and like that's okay.
Well, and John and Mike aren't the type of guys that are gonna just like tell us like, hey, I'm loving okra these days. It's so random. But like they're not just gonna like tell
Yeah.
us. So I think it is so important, like you said, you will ask him. That's so important. Just like check in with them and ask them. I think that sometimes too, if I'm ever feeling like mundane with Mike or whatever, which is a common thing, we'll unpack more in this podcast, I take the time to like actually listen to him and actually like try to learn more about him.
Yeah.
Like I'll just like poke questions and ask like about his work and life more, because that'll help me. It's almost like you're like on a first date again. Like that, we need to do a whole episode on that.
We do.
too.
We
First
actually
date-
do. Yeah, like
dating your husband.
dating your husband. Like, you will always be dating.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like say to John, I'm like I love having you as my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, because he still is
Role
my
play
boyfriend.
that
Like,
shit. Pretend he's
seriously,
your boyfriend.
Pretend.
Like, we should do a whole episode on role playing.
I've never even done that though.
No, me neither.
Oh.
No,
I was like, well, I don't even have anything
I
to
think
say.
like maybe twice in our like sex lives, like when we've been real unhinged, been like, let's pretend. Did I tell you in my like fetish with sex? Sorry, parents, again, if you're like, whatever. We're gonna talk sex all the time. One of my fetishes is like figures of authority. So I've pretended that he's like a CEO.
Honestly, if you're gonna have I mean, that would be it, right? I can't. There's nothing you can say to that.
We'll unpack that in a later episode.
There's nothing I can say against that.
Yeah, the authority. We'll do
That's
fetishes and sex.
fantastic.
We have to have a whole sex episode. I like say that every 5 seconds.
We'll do it eventually.
We
it
will.
freaks me out.
So-
but I'm gonna get there for you.
Thank you. Well, be there for me, especially this fantasy football season, because
Yeah.
my marriage is hanging on by a thread during it. But just moving on, tell them about, okay, so this episode is going to be all about, like, mainly we're going to answer a big question about, like, having that identity crisis after you get married.
Yeah.
You know, you and I, again, we've talked weddings ad nauseum on every other channel in the world, but we're going to talk about after the wedding and all
Yeah.
the things that come with that in future episodes. But on this one, we're going to talk a lot about that identity crisis, changing your last name. But tell them what they can expect in like a couple of future episodes. I don't know why I just said that with a fucking Scottish accent. I was
Wait,
like,
can you
tell
say
them
it
what they can expect.
You
I
can
don't know what-
expect.
Like, what
Wait,
am
can
I?
you do accents?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
Oh,
I can do like one British.
British is so easy. Southern
Yeah.
is so easy.
And at one time, you need to ask. John can only do an Australian, but he thinks it's everything. Like, he thinks it's a Scottish. He thinks it's
oh,
like, but it's all
Scottish.
comes out Australian.
Australian is so hard. That's like the one I can't, like, I can do it if I like sit down and try and
Yeah.
think, but like I can't just whip that out. And I've wanted to, like, I can do like gnar or like shrimp on the bobby, like,
Yeah.
or like Roy, like I know they do their eyes like that.
Yeah.
But like,
Like, good day, mate.
good day, mate. Good day, mate. Yeah, I guess I could do, but I don't know.
Nicole's
I
gonna be an actress one day, so This is why I'm asking her.
I'm like, stop. Hire me. I haven't even like tried. I'm
This
like,
is her
just hire me.
audition.
Like one of those people that like doesn't go after their dreams, just like expects dreams to come.
We'll do it one time and you can put this as your reel tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we're doing a series after the wedding. And it's kind of inspired by this first topic, which is about identity crises and like name changes and stuff, which we're gonna really get into, but like bigger inspired by what kind of brought us to do this podcast in the first place, which was like what's next, what comes after the wedding. Like there's just a lot of emotions, it's a lot of untalked about stuff. I think a lot of the times like we're programmed to feel very negatively about feelings that are extremely normal. So I think we want to unpack like a lot of that. So some examples of what you can expect during this series are the in-laws. We're going to go all into that. We're going to go into babies eventually.
Yeah.
Just like the pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Even within your own relationship sometimes, actually.
There's always one in the relationship, one person who wants it
first,
so much sooner.
Which I think that's not abnormal. Like,
no, we
I
gotta
always
normalize.
say that to people. Like, it's like just because you both know you want the same thing eventually doesn't mean you're going to wake up on the same day and be ready for it. Like,
exactly.
Maybe the day that you're like, oh, it's 100%, like we're both 100% on board. Maybe that day is such a great day. But leading up to it, like you are going to have different rounds of different feelings because everybody's different and people like get on board or get excited about ideas differently. They also get worried about them differently.
You might also backtrack on your thinking.
Yeah.
You might think you want them right now and then maybe wait a second.
That has happened to me. That's happened to friends. I think it must be very normal.
Yeah, and it's probably frustrating for your partner when you do that. Yeah. Not you, I'm saying
if
just
they're
in general.
Ready.
But yeah, like when you're fluctuating your mind, like for me, I know I want kids. I know I want 2 to 3 at least. Well, just 2 to 3, not at least. I don't know why I'm like at least 7.
2 to 3 sets of
but
triplets.
I sometimes I fluctuate on like when we're supposed to like start. You know, we'll talk more about that though.
Yeah, that's a whole episode coming up. And then also just like the slump, which I don't know if other people experience, but I definitely had
depression.
Like and it wasn't even the post-wedding blues. Because I feel like we get that question a lot on podcasts. Yeah.
It's a whole
it's not that. It's just like it's a slump.
It's a slump. It's not like a
You're a little in your flop era sometimes after your wedding and like that's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's probably kind of normal. And then I don't know, there are just like so many other things.
Just everything that you're facing like right after the wedding and how to deal with it. And like this is going to be like our little mini series where we're going to do like a couple episodes on it like Caroline said. But you guys are already sending us so many questions. So thank you so much to the email, which is honeywe'rehomepodcast@gmail.com. So keep sending those because those help us think of like episode topics. But also if you like hate the series, let us know and we'll like pivot. You know, we're not married to anything. As I say.
That's a good point.
Before we do get into like the identity crisis thing, quick recap though. Yeah. Because we know we have some people listening that aren't married yet. You might be planning your weddings. Well, here's the thing. I got to tell you, I am so relieved right now. I know I'm a little mad that it's fantasy football season, but I'm also happy because we are facing a pause in wedding season. Thank God. Mike and I just attended 4 weddings in a row. Every weekend of the month of September, we were at a wedding. And let me just tell you, it was freaking exhausting. We had to travel for all of them. One of the weekends, I drove 8 hours into the middle of literal nowhere in Virginia, which was a beautiful wedding. Like, don't get me wrong. Thank you for inviting me.
Where was it in Virginia?
You know, I love weddings. Halifax. It was like a farm. There was a Walmart and a Starbucks, and that's all. Yeah. And no shade to that. I considered
it's just a weird drive
because I was like, I kind of need a soft life. And so when I was driving around, I was like picturing like, what if I just moved here?
I would pay a lot of money to see you try to live the soft life.
No, literally.
Like it would be the simple
comical.
Life.
It would be.
Like I feel like Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie would both volunteer to narrate. That like reality show.
Oh, that would be iconic. I mean, cool. I would last about a day. I would.
It would be a fun day.
It would be a fun day. It'd be a funny day. It'd be fun to watch. Yeah. Maybe we'll film a future thing there. We'll go and try to live the soft life for a day.
I really
We're
love
like
it.
gonna become Call Her Daddy podcast. Like, not to promote
We're
that.
gonna
but,
go film in different places.
Yeah, like we're gonna become like a vlog one day, when we have like more time and resources.
Yeah, when we.
But so the wedding season. I just quickly
Yeah.
want to recap, like, for those of you who are planning weddings, like, some of the things that stuck out to me, like, as things I wish I did in my own, just, like, things I remembered from these weddings. And, like, we could talk about this forever, honestly. But, so something I wrote down, short ceremonies. I didn't realize how clutch a short wedding ceremony is. I'm talking 10 minutes or less. Mine, Catholic ceremony, but it was outside, so it wasn't a full mass. But it took like forever. My ceremony did.
How long?
For my, I don't like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But like one of the
long.
weddings I went to with this past series, this past month, was a full Catholic mass ceremony, and I was like, here's the thing, no shade to the couple, I love them to death, but like it was so long, and I was like, whoa, that is not the move. Sorry to religions.
I've never admitted this to anybody besides John. I time wedding ceremonies.
No, you don't. You
Yeah.
sit there. Do you start a timer?
No, like, I'm like a little crazy. And I do this with like, when I'm bored, like playing math games in my head is like the only thing that gets me through. Like, I used to do this with John's football games.
Games in your head?
Like, I would break down.
You're so good at fast math.
No, I would like predict. I like fast math, so I would like predict how long each quarter was going to be based on like, you know, how long.
You do this shit. Remember, you like did my taxes in your head last
year.
year.
Oh, I just like, I don't know why. Like, it's just something for my brain to do. I used to do it on long car rides when I was like going to see my dad.
Can you
and
do
I would
percentages?
Well, yeah, percentages are just like fractions.
Like, what is 22% of 150? Could you do that?
Yeah, it's like 22% of 150.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I can't.
That it's so specific.
Yeah, I think it's like 62.
I can't even. The fact that you even like could get close, I can't do 50% of that.
Oh, it's 61. I should have done that. I should have been able to do that way faster.
I don't know how your brain works like that.
That's actually embarrassing that it took so long because it's just 20 plus 11.
No, I see.
Or
like,
22
I need you to have a pen and paper to be able to understand.
Right now it's 33. I can't even.
Well, it's late in the day.
Whatever.
I mean,
okay, it's too late for this.
Um,
But yes, I would time ceremonies, and
wild.
and an average ceremony is 17 minutes.
That's not awful. That goes by quick.
But that bar is Catholic.
Okay, a normal ceremony,
a Catholic wedding,
and I do love a ceremony,
or actually
especially
kind of not even a Jewish wedding either.
Oh, yeah, they're longer.
Protestant weddings.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind if they're too long, like with the funny officiant and, you know, the cute moments of the vows and stuff. I love all that stuff, but like, I just was like, shorter ceremonies are the move. Another thing, I've talked about this before, that when the couple getting married does a speech during the reception, a quick one, this can be like a minute, but they just stand up and welcome and thank the guests.
You like it?
Mike and I didn't do that. We didn't even think to.
That was one of my regrets that we didn't do it.
Oh, I would have thought you did.
I would have too. I don't know how.
It's very like Southern hospitality thing too.
Very much.
Like.
We didn't have anybody do speeches at the wedding, but like afterwards,
really?
I was like, why didn't I? We say well.
If you didn't have any speeches at the wedding, then maybe I get it.
I guess we like Loki said something a little bit, but like not really. I think I thought after I was like, how cute would that have been? So I'm interested to hear that you.
I love it. I mean, it's just one thing that like makes sense. Like, you're two adults, you're having a bunch of people come, like, thank your guests. I just think it's cute and nice, and I'm like continually mad at myself for not doing it.
That's a really good idea.
Keep that in mind. Another quick thing, the disposable cameras on each table.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's so cute. The film photos after that you have, like, why didn't we do that?
Yeah.
Did you do it?
I did. I had a bunch of people with disposable cameras, and I just got them developed.
Like, just now?
Yeah, like
You've
last week.
been married for literally 3 years.
I've been like collecting all the disposable cameras I've been using, and I just got them developed. And it was like sad because so many of them are in like such bad lighting, or like maybe
I have a tickle in my throat, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
It's been here for a month. That's
I've been on like a choking spree recently.
Really?
Like, I just keep choking. I don't It's like pretty
Should we be
embarrassing.
concerned?
If
I've
I
been
start
sick
choking
for
when
a
I take a
month.
sip of water, that's why I got you sick.
I
so
can't
I'm
laugh.
sorry.
Like when I laugh or like smile or talk, I cough. So that's fun.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think you did get me sick
I
though,
did.
actually, because that would
I'm
make
sure.
sense. It was right after. Yeah, that would make sense. It was
I
you.
told my mom. I got like all of New York sick. We went to Utah and my sister came, whose boyfriend had just been in Spain and was like super sick.
You started the
Right.
spread.
And she was like, oh, but it's not COVID. But she came and got really sick. And on the airport or at the airport going back, I got really sick. And then it lasted for a long time. And I gave it to 3 different people.
Mm-hmm. Including me. And then I
Including
gave
you.
it to everybody in my life.
Yeah.
We've
really
all been
bad.
sick. It's like everybody's saying it's not COVID because like we're testing negative, but it's literally COVID.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Like it's like the COVID meets the flu beast edition. Yeah. It's terrible.
Well, and I don't have it anymore. I haven't had it for now 4 weeks, but I'm still seeing residual effects.
Yeah.
The doctor said my lungs are inflamed, so that's fun.
Awesome.
He gave me steroids, but I stopped taking them after 3 days because they were making my skin break out, and I'm not. I'd rather
Yeah,
just
you're
like
not gonna do
have
that.
inflamed lungs than a pimple. So.
Like you will. Yeah.
Which
That's
is
not
so
for
sad.
you.
I'd rather sound like I smoke 10 packs a day.
Okay, so you
Um,
like the short ceremonies, you like the little speech. I think those are both really, really great.
Yeah, well, and last one I wrote down, the big one, just all the personalized touches. I want to see you all over your wedding. I just love a personalized touch. Like the my cousin's wedding, they had a little handwritten note copied and pasted to all the cocktail napkins, and it was a sweet little note that she had written him at some point, and it was like, I guess they did it on Etsy or whatever, and it was just like my sister and I looked at the cocktail napkins and literally started crying, and we were like, this is so freaking cute. Like, just personalize the wedding. Put your dogs as an illustration on the signature drinks. Put, I don't know, your
Yeah. Anything that makes it you.
yeah.
Like, because no one else can ever do that. Like, that is now your own idea for eternity because no one else could ever do it. Like,
Yeah.
I have a friend who did letters to each of us under our plates.
I love that. To
I
each
cannot-
person?
I cannot, or like each couple, I cannot even begin to fathom how much time that must have taken them to do. But like, even if somebody else did that idea, it doesn't become any less special because it's
a
so
letter from them
personal.
to you.
Yeah.
No, that's what you really should be doing. And if you can't write a letter to the couple, then they shouldn't be at your wedding. Like,
Good point.
that's a good like marker for like, should I invite this person to my wedding? Can I
That's
write them a
really-
letter
can
and
you
put
write
it on
them a
their
letter?
plate?
Also,
Or will
how
it
do
feel
you
weird?
feel? This topic has come back up recently. Like, how do you feel about, like, what is your rule for a +1? Because I have a rule, but
I'm a pussy with this. Sorry, excuse my French. I'm a wimp with this because I will give anyone and their mom a +1 if it's like gonna make them feel comfortable at my wedding. But I think if you've been dating them for a while, if you're in the wedding party, I think you get a +1.
Yeah,
if you're a
I
bridesmaid or
agree.
grooms.
I agree.
And or if it's like you gotta travel far, if it's destination vibes. I'm not trying to make people travel
Yeah.
alone because I, as the couple, don't want to worry about them and their like happiness the whole weekend. So like I'd rather they have a companion. So that's one. And then yeah, I don't know. What about you?
I said I had to have met the
Yeah.
boyfriend or girlfriend.
Okay. One of the weddings I went to, the one in Virginia, I had not met the bride.
Who you're married. That does not.
Oh yeah, true.
Like, there were exceptions. Like, if it was like, why would you have met them, or like, how could you have met them? Like, married, engaged is implied, and I think also
Okay.
caveat would be like, if you were dating over 10 months or like over a year, like, you got a
then that
+1,
kind of counts. Yeah.
and then. But like, other than that, it's like I wasn't gonna like not invite somebody that had been dating for like 3 months, but I'd met the significant other. Like, that would have felt kind of crappy.
Right. If you'd already met them and yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And
they'd
I-
only been dating for 3 months, but like you've gone to dinner. It's like then you do invite them.
Right, then you do invite them. And then also I extended the rule to be like, if you, by the time we sent the wedding invitations out, like, that was like a 6-month difference. So like, there were a few people who were like in new relationships when I sent save the dates out that I was like, oh,
And
I
you
just
haven't met
didn't
them.
think to give them a +1. And then I reached out to them when we sent out the real invitations, was like, hey, like, you've
You
been
can
dating this
bring-
person, like, for the entire duration of our engagement, like, you know, I want you to know, like, that they're welcome or whatever.
I remember, that's very kind of you, first of all, for like doing that, because I do remember that happened with a couple of like Mike's random friends, not random, that's mean, a couple of Mike's friends. Well, we've talked about that, how like guys have literally 25 best friends and we have like 4. Mike invited like 25 guys from college, quite literally. And I was like, I'm not inviting their little girlfriends to this. Or like, my favorite thing to say no to a +1 is like a younger cousin. I don't need my 21-year-old cousin bringing their boyfriend or girlfriend that they...
The cousin thing is hilarious to me.
Cousins like didn't get +1s.
I had a cousin get my cousins got +1s, like they'd been dating
if they were
for
married.
Like a year. Well, they
yeah,
were
like
like dating
engaged
for like years.
Yeah, or dating for years, then yes.
But I didn't give like random +1s.
No, because my cousin, I don't, like, a lot of my cousins I don't keep in touch with regularly because I have so many.
Yeah.
I love them to death, always will. Like, they're my blood. But you're not getting a random +1 if you just started dating somebody 3 months ago and just because you're my cousin.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
So anyhow.
No. Okay, we could actually go on about that. We should maybe just have a wedding etiquette episode, but like, yeah, we have things to get to.
We are. So should I read our question?
Yeah, so we're going to get into our topic, which is like the name change identity crisis, which like, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but I like went through it because I had to like petition the court.
Oh, wait, yeah, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and then let's read this question about the kind of like...
We have such ADHD.
Yeah, we're...
No, but what is the petition the court a long story?
We need to be like a limited series where each episode is like 16 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so got married. I don't know if I ever was like sold on being just like Caroline Patterson.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought about it, but part of me knew that I wasn't going to know how I felt until I was in the moment. I really believe that. Like, and I said that now. I'm like, even my friends that are engaged, like, I'm not going to get you things embroidered like with your new last name on it because
you might change.
You might change your mind, and you should feel free to change your mind.
Yeah.
Like, that is not fair to feel like you backed yourself into a corner just because you always thought one thing. Because honestly, push comes to shove, you're in the moment. Like, your heart is going to tell you what feels right and what doesn't feel right, and that is different for everybody. And like, you just know when you know. And so I always like hold off on that. However, I think that I was just like kind of waiting for my like gut to tell me like the right thing to do. But my scenario is very specific because I grew up with one last name, and my mom had a different last name, and all my sisters had a different last name.
I forget this.
So I spent like my entire life, my friends, like my home friends are like Caroline Grace Jones, Crawford Patterson. Like,
yeah.
Which I love because I'm like, I'm still all of those.
Cute.
That goes into the identity thing. I'm still all of those people. When you do, when you change your name, like, you do feel like you lose a part of yourself that you worked so hard for.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a really good shedding.
Yeah.
Other times it's really traumatizing.
I mean, if your last name is Butt Kiss, what is that? Is that from a movie?
But like,
oh,
yeah,
that's from It Takes Two. With Mary Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, Butt Kiss. But I think it's just, like, if someone just called you like Nicole, if someone said Nicole Smith, like, you would not turn around.
No, God,
because
no.
that's not you.
No, if somebody said Nicole Freeze at this point, I would, even though that's quite literally not my name. We can get into that in a second. Like, I have not changed my last name, mainly because I'm too lazy or like too busy to change my last name. But if somebody called me that, I like it. I love it. I embrace it. Like, I tell these weddings that we go to, I'm like, yeah, you can address me, like, put me on the name card or whatever as Nicole Freeze. I like that because Mike likes it and whatever. It makes him happy. But my name is still Nicole Pellegrino, and that is what I'll turn around to and respond way more to. Right. Like, I'd be kind of off-put if I heard my name. Right. If I heard Nicole Freeze. Right. I was be like, who's, oh, yeah, that's me. But.
So I think I spent a long time wanting to be Caroline Crawford. That right after we walked down the aisle, someone was like, oh, it's like Caroline Patterson, and I wanted to throw up.
Yeah, that doesn't have a ring. To me, you're CCP, Caroline Crawford Patterson.
I literally was like I convulsively like could have thrown
Well,
up.
Caroline Crawford sounds so good.
It does sound good, but it was more that like, are you literally kidding me right now? Like I have one guy's last name for my whole life and I don't have the same last name as my mom. And now all I've ever wanted is to have the same last name as my mom. And now in the blink of an eye, I have the same last name of somebody else's, this other guy's last name.
So you are legally officially Caroline Crawford Patterson?
Yeah. And so then I went to change it. I was like, I'm going to add Crawford in. I'll do Patterson. And that's part of the name change thing is like, thinking about your kids when you make the decision.
Yeah.
That was like a difficult part because as growing up with a different last name than my mom, I really don't want that for my kids.
Really?
I don't. Like I personally, it sucked. Like,
okay, good to know.
and I had this one experience. I will never forget it. And it was a core memory for me. And now like I understand why. I like went to like a Forever 21 and I couldn't use my mom's credit card because they thought that it was stolen because we don't have the same last name.
Different last names. Shit.
And
I gotta change.
that
for the kids.
traumatized me.
This
Then
is
I
changing my perspective.
but like my kids are going to be interracial.
Yeah. Oh, they're already
So
gonna be
it's
facing-
already like, I just feel like for me specifically,
Mhm.
if that were to be an issue for them, I wouldn't be able to look them in the eye and say, oh, I never saw it coming.
Yeah.
Like I fully thought
Since
about it
you've
and made the choice
experienced
not
it,
to. Yeah.
You know. So yeah. Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Your CCP, are they going to be just Patterson?
That's the other thing is I think we should talk about this because I didn't even tell John about this until after we were on our honeymoon. And I was like, I am sorry, but like, I can't be Caroline Patterson. Like, it makes me want to throw
I think
up.
that's fine. How did he react?
He was like, you can do whatever you want. He was like, it kind of sucks because he had like been like Caroline and John Patterson in his head like all this time. So he was like a little down
but like
from
socially
it.
and stuff, like people can still call you that. Like that's what I don't get.
100%.
I'm like legally, yes, sure, but like if you're addressing us together, yes, call us Michael and Nicole Freeze, please. I love it.
That's fine.
like-
But like I also just don't like. Oh, I have so many thoughts because like you honestly, like for me, it was just very different. I worked my entire life to be associated by name with my sisters and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't just going to skip that whole chapter of my life to be associated with some other man and his family.
Yeah.
Like, especially when we start to do things where like I had this dream of like being published. Mm-hmm. So like when your stuff is like online, like you are accredited to your name. And I'm like, I want the association to be with my family.
Yeah.
Like my family.
Yeah.
Not John's family. We have our own family, like me and John.
I think that's totally normal, and that's like one of the main reasons for me. Like I try to go after dreams, and I see big things for Nicole Pellegrino. It has a ring. I've walked into job interviews before, and the first thing they say is, "Love your last name."
Oh.
Like I get asked if it's the water. I love that little bit. I love telling people that I'm literally the grandchild of the Pellegrino fortune, which I'm not, but it's like a little bit
It's
I
fun,
do.
yeah.
You know, whatever. I'm like, if I were, I'd be living on a yacht and not working. Haha. It's just one of my little shticks. So that's the thing. Like now I'm like rethinking everything though, because the kids thing, and I don't want it to be confusing and weird for my kids, but like my kids just might need to suck it up because like, I don't know. It's very tough though. And I do think something we don't talk about enough is that the guys like, as like misogynistic and like old school as this sounds, the men like when we have their last names, and like that's not going to change anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I can tell Mike, and
I'd be
here's
so
the thing, I
drunk
want
by
to
the
do
end of this.
what are you doing?
I'm just drinking some more wine.
Oh yeah, same. I can tell Mike really wants me to be Nicole
Freeze.
Freeze officially. His family wants it. They're very like traditional Italian, whatever.
Yep.
I
Same scenario.
Yeah, and like I want that. I want to make him and them all happy. I do. I really do. But at the same time, that's why I'm always like, can socially I just be like, be Nicole Freeze? Like, well, call me that. Yay. But like
Totally
Instagram, TikTok, and like professionally, can I just like keep my name? Like, I don't know. And Well, a big reason, everybody asks, like, why didn't you? A big reason is because literally right before we got married, we had to, like, get new passports in a scramble. We had to, like, sell our souls for these new passports to be able to go on our honeymoon last minute. Credit cards, all that. I just, like, haven't even had the time. I've barely had the time to, like, look at our wedding photos, let alone change my fucking last name on everything. So, like, truly,
It takes everybody years.
it takes, yeah, like, when I do,
A bit of
it's about to
logistical
take
piece
years.
of information you should know that I learned when I was going through the process is that you're technically supposed to do it within 2 years of the day you sign your
Really?
marriage certificate.
Oh, great.
Otherwise,
Pretty
it like raises complications. Listen, I don't know what that means because you can really do anything that you want to do. Like, you probably just have to get like an extra form signed.
Why does everything have to
anything-
be so
Yeah,
hard?
I don't know. Because I literally had to petition to get Crawford in my name because they were like, it's not on your mom's birth certificate. Obviously, like, that's the effing problem. Obviously,
'cause your
Crawford's not,
mother-
because it's my stepdad's last name. And they're like, it's not on your mom's birth certificate or your dad's birth certificate. And I'm like, you know what else wasn't on my mom's birth certificate? My dad's name, but you gave it to him.
Yeah.
Or you gave it to her. So, like,
He's a man,
they literally looked at me and they were like, you can have his name or his name.
just not the one you want.
I was like, well, screw all of you. I had to, like, write an essay to the court or whatever to get it petitioned. And, like, all my
this
ducks
is
in a
already
row.
stressing me out.
But I was like, if I'm going to go through whatever I'm going to go through to take some other man's last name, then I should be able to do this to have my mom's last name. Like, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, no, like, my priority in life right now is getting this fucking podcast launched, and then, like,
And then,
a lot of other things, and then, like, lowest is changing my last name. That's
you shouldn't
also
really
what I need.
care. Well, just give it the time you need to, because sometimes you'll wake up one day and be like, Nicole Freeze actually sounds really nice and I really like that.
Nikki Freeze, that, like, you know, my name's also
Yeah.
Nikki. A lot of people call me that. Nikki Freeze, porn star.
Oh, it's a legit one?
No, sounds like one.
Oh, I thought you were
Nikki
going to tell me it was like
Freeze?
actually. Yeah.
Just two. It sounds like a bimbo. Well, one of my coworkers was like, it also sounds like a chic summer drink, and like that turned me onto it a little more. Thank God. But,
Brand
like,
opportunity.
yeah, I was like Nikki Freeze. So that, thank God, helped me.
Yeah.
But like, no, overall, porn star name.
That's difficult.
Nikki Freeze. Well, Nikki
can't
with
even,
any
like,
last name also kind of sounds like a porn star, because Nikki is one of the top 10 porn star names in the country, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, we looked it up one time. I'm having deja vu because I feel like I told you this, but
I think you did
my
tell me
sister
this. Your
and I
sister
looked
you
it
looked
up.
it up, yeah.
and hers Jenna.
Yeah,
because the main
You did tell
porn
me
star.
this.
Why, like, why did I tell you that at some
I
point?
don't. We talk about the weirdest.
Like, but
So,
anyways,
I do.
should I read our question?
Oh yeah, read our question. Oh, I
We
should've been sitting
basically
like this the whole
answered it.
time.
Whoopsie. Okay, so this question, one of you DM'd this, but again, email your questions because we'll see them better there. But like, also DM us. Follow us on Instagram too. Our new Instagram account, which will be active
Oh,
at Honey We're Home Pod. You can DM things
it does
there
exist
too.
though.
If you're like too lazy to go to email, but email's better.
Okay.
She says a bunch of stuff. Then she says, also the
Et cetera, et cetera.
also my throat. The awkward feeling of not knowing who you are the first couple months after the wedding. Yes. I didn't know what to do. I also never thought about changing my name because it's just naturally the next step. I grew up playing sports where everyone called each other by their last name. That's another good point.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
sports and stuff, you like that becomes your first name.
Yeah.
She said,
Well, it's just as much your first name as your first name for a lot of people.
yeah, yeah. Especially if you have a short last name. Like everybody calls Mike just like Freeze.
It's your, like it
It's
is
your
your
name.
identity. And the only people that say otherwise, the only people that say like it's just a name, sorry, are
Are men.
men.
Who don't have to change it.
Yeah.
Props to the men who changed their name for the woman.
Literally props. I looked
That
John in the-
happens.
I said, if I ever had to do this shit again, you be coming with me every step of the way. I was like, because this makes me want to strangle you. I'm not even going to lie. I feel disrespected that you didn't have to go through this with me.
Honestly, the men that change their names for the wife, I want to meet you. I just want to like talk to you and
Legit.
and like you deserve a Nobel Peace Prize because
Especially if they were not the first. Like, I was like, John, would you change it to Crawford? He's like, no, because I'm John Albert Patterson the third. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like that. It doesn't actually make it that
Buck
different.
up
But like
and
now
change
you're
it,
no
John.
longer you. I'm like, that's the point.
yeah, like welcome to my life. Also, whatever. I
Okay.
just forgot that.
Okay.
That was that TikTok
She
song.
goes by last names.
Okay, she said, then I worked in a job where everyone called each other by their last name. Okay, weird flex at work, but whatever.
I wonder what kind of job that is.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What kind of jobs do you say that? What kind of jobs do you like call people by their last names? Like if you're a referee.
Yeah, what?
Like-
yeah, not an office job. If like one of my coworkers, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you saying?" Okay, so to suddenly change my name to something else, I really struggled. LOL. So when I changed my name, I really had an identity issue, but was afraid to admit it because I didn't want anyone to think something was wrong or that I had the wedding blues. That's the key. She's afraid to admit it because we don't talk about this enough. We kind of already answered your
Because
question.
I think that people think, one of my friends went through this. I think people think that if they say something, others, especially like in-laws or parents, are going to think that you're regretting getting married.
Yeah.
Or like
it's
when
like,
she
don't
says,
think that it ain't that deep, honey.
no, like when she says like, I didn't want people to think something was wrong. What was going through my head was like, oh, like if it feels unnatural for me to like go by Patterson, like,
Yeah.
are people going to say like, oh, that's a sign?
They're having issues.
Or that like you were
This
supposed
is
to marry
another-
that person. Like you're supposed to be excited to have their name. And it's like that I had to debunk that for myself.
Yeah.
And that was a really crappy process, especially because like for as amazing as John is, like he is a guy at the end of the day and he does take a lot of pride in his name, but will never have to face that decision. And so he was bummed when I didn't like want to just
Patterson.
take his name.
Yeah.
So for him to be bummed piled on to that feeling.
That's just another reason. Like, you cannot give a fuck what anybody thinks.
Yeah.
Especially about your marriage, in life in general. But in your marriage, you really can't, because that will make you do things that you don't want to do, i.e. changing your last name if you don't want to. And if you want to, great. Like, I don't, like, the name
That's
change thing,
fantastic.
but you just can't give a fuck. People are always going to speculate about your marriage. I swear, I know
Yeah.
this because I try not to do it, because I do think there's a special place in hell for people who talk about other people's marriages when they
Yeah.
like don't know. But I know this because I've had friends be like little things like, why is so-and-so not posting so-and-so on their Instagram? Does that mean they're having issues? And I'm like, no. Literally, if you look at my Instagram, like, you think Brian, my gay coworker, is my husband because he's on there more than Mike these days.
Right.
And I'm like, no, like, that does not, like,
That's
you just
so gross.
can't give a fuck about what people think. And especially the name thing. Like, that is not a reason to change your name. And I don't know. I just, like...
That's full circle to this entire effing podcast, though, because
Yeah.
that's the point. Like, stop doing something because you think you're supposed to do it. Stop not talking about something because you think that other people are going to think that there's a problem. Like,
Yeah.
stop not doing something because you're scared of what other people are going to think. Like,
No.
that causes all of these other issues in itself, to where, like, you were actually starting to do things only for other people. And then now you have, like, internalized issues.
And that makes you resent each other in your relationship.
And that's a whole wormhole.
Mhm.
But that's this whole podcast, which is like, break the rules, write new ones. The only rules that exist are the ones that work the best for you.
I love that you're just like,
I'm-
bravo. You like changed your position
I
in
did
the
change
chair.
my- I
Like the
was-
fucking Godfather sitting back.
My feet went numb. My feet went really, and I
Also,
went to
there's a hole in my sock, and I literally
Oh.
noticed it like while you were talking, and it's now I'm never gonna be able to think about
That's
anything
okay.
else. So yeah, I mean that, yeah, but well said, because literally life is too short to give a fuck what, and like, if you do and you make decisions based off what other people want in your wedding, in your marriage, we know that's a huge wedding thing. You'll end up being unhappy.
also, like, let's ask ourselves, like, one of the real questions, which is like, we're coming off of a generation that is so saturated by divorce, like our parents.
Yeah.
My parents are divorced.
Same. Whose aren't?
Right.
Like, if your parents aren't divorced, I want to meet you.
I know that, like, I'm sure we're too young to, like, really know what the divorce rate in our generation is going to be like. But I, for one, am, like, very committed to not letting that happen to me, even though I know that it's, like, something that sometimes you cannot control. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes, like, there are outside circumstances, and I'm, like, I feel like it's hard to say that because I feel like my parents
Right.
was
You don't
also an
know
outside
what you'll
circumstance.
get
So it's like
into.
like, I don't think it was avoidable per se.
Well, and in a lot of cases, we need to do a whole episode on divorce. In a lot of cases, it is actually a better thing and it's healthier for everybody. Like I do think that's hard to like discover and admit, but like for my parents at least, to the point where they got, I think it like made sense. Like, or for some couples, like when they get divorced, you're like, oh, okay, like you're happy because you're like, okay, y'all were toxic. So
like when people have like the divorce parties. No, I agree.
But I'm like if you're a product of divorce, you do everything you can to avoid it. I do think I think we need to have a really healthy old elderly couple on the podcast.
Come here and talk to us about it. Yeah.
And who are like genuinely still so happy.
Yeah.
Like after 50 years or whatever the fuck. Because that is so fucking rare to find these days.
But
what?
I just have weird feelings about that because half the time I feel like it's a byproduct of like society. The woman like staying in her lane.
Oh, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Because when you dig deep and ask questions, like I don't like what I hear.
I know. I'm like, what if that ruins it?
Like when they're like, oh yeah, I just like, we don't argue or like we don't blah, blah. Like I'm almost like taking the like, maybe it's too extreme, but I'm like, be really honest. Like I don't mind sitting down here and being like, oh yeah, John and I just had an argument. I don't. And right after that, I told Nicole that John has been literally a saint all week. And I was like, how will I even come up with an ick for like to talk about with him? And
which
it's
we're
like,
about to get to.
Which we're going to get to. But like the flip sometimes can switch. And I don't mind saying that because I don't think that makes everybody think that I'm in a bad relationship. And honestly, if it does, like, fuck it. No. Like, I legit, you think whatever you want to think.
Says that they never argue or never fight or whatever is quite literally lying.
They're
to
lying.
Your face.
But I just am like taking maybe it's too far of an extreme, but just being like, why don't we be as transparent as possible? Because that way, when we have like the little cracks that happen in our relationships, like we talk through them like actual healthy people.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't become huge like earthquakes or chasms, like they're irreparable.
Yeah.
Like I don't like.
It's all about communicating. It's all about communicating through the cracks.
But if we could find an older couple that was like that would be pretty freaking awesome.
We gotta like search if you know any older couples, you guys, that are genuinely happily together, not like a facade couple that's like lying about fighting.
Send them our way?
Yeah, send them our way because we're gonna have them on and we're gonna grill them. I'm gonna bring an investigative.
We start a fight.
I'm gonna take notes.
Wait, a lie detector,
like a literal lie detector. Hook them up.
Okay, we can't ask anything like too incriminating. But
okay. Let's get into husband ick of the week.
Okay.
We're almost, oh my God, time is flying. Okay, so this is our segment where like we talk about the icks that our husbands gave us this week because like we love them at the end of the day, but they do give us the icks sometimes. I think we might add in a segment too that's like the good shit that they did because they do good stuff. Like you said, John was perfect this week.
John bought me the sweater when I like came home. It was just like sitting there.
Okay, Mike's never literally one time bought me a sweater in our whole 10 years.
So I buy John stuff all the time though. Okay, and so recently he was like I'll like go out and come back and be like girl math to me is if I didn't buy it for myself, it was free.
Yeah. Obviously.
So like I will go out and come back and I'm like, look what I have. And John's like, oh, like for me.
Oh, if
like,
you didn't buy it for you. Okay.
Like if I buy something for John, it was free. Because I didn't buy it for myself.
Oh, that's a very thoughtful, generous thing to think.
No, it's selfish. It's a way around shopping. Like it's like a shop.
It's to take your addiction of shopping out, but
like
not
displace
really.
It somewhere else where someone thinks I'm being nice
I need to
them.
get better about buying Mike more clothes. Like I go through pulses, like once a season, maybe I'll get a couple things, but like I really need to like be a better wife in that arena.
But that's how I landed here where I came home and he was like, I bought you some stuff because he was like, I feel so bad.
It out?
Yes. Well, I think the sales associate might have picked it out.
Oh, okay. Cute.
Well, with him.
Love. Okay. I mean, I love the sweater. So if he did, it's a great job. But
apparently he like showed the sales associate a picture of me and she was like, this cut will like look nice on her boobs.
From where?
And John was like, cool.
On her tits.
On her
cut
tits.
Looks good on her tits.
On her tits. John goes, the sales associate said this would look nice on you. I think you can see why. I literally was like, okay.
He's perfect.
From Buck Mason. But I did this for myself because they just opened a women's store in the West Village and they have one in Soho. But I was buying him all these clothes and he was like, I just feel like so bad. Like I should do more stuff like this. And I was like, oh, well, like add it to the top of your list then.
I've recently been getting decent, and you just literally 2 days ago, I like randomly got the itch to like go raid aloe, hence where my hat is from.
Really cute.
And I was like, in my head, did an unselfish thing. I was like, oh, I should probably get Mike something because they have like cute men stuff. And I found one sweatshirt, their Renowned sweatshirt. If any of you can find the dark green Renowned sweatshirt in a fucking size large for me,
dark green.
I called every store in New York, Manhattan area.
Wait, that's nice of you.
I know. I put in work for this because Mike was like, he's like picky. This is why I can't shop for him. He's like, I don't need black, gray, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, the only option left is fucking green. And I called every store. One said they had it. It was in an extra small only because apparently some tennis player wore it during the U.S. Open and it like sold out everywhere. So literally, aloe, if anybody's listening, like find me the Renowned freaking hoodie in a large in dark green because that I do want to do a nice deed for my husband and get him that.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and like honestly, if you care about my marriage at all, you guys will help me find it.
You heard it here first, folks.
Okay.
So we're gonna start doing the nice stuff too, though, because there are so many nice things.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do ick, and then we'll say something nice.
Okay. So
you guys don't think we're terrible. You want me to go first?
I don't care.
Okay. I told Nicole when we walked in, I saved my ick. I haven't told her yet, but John has been so nice, literally so nice all week until he made me mad earlier today. Of course, that is. But I was like, I won't be able to dig up an ick because it's just like I was in like a love place.
I can always dig up an ick.
I get home last night. I went on a mom-daughter trip to Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, cute.
There are these two things like in the bathroom, and I'm like, they're like in cases. One's pink and one's blue. I'm like, what is this? I walk out. Of course, my mom says, those are baby colors. Like, we know what's on her mind. John's like,
she's ready.
She like her and John's mom, like they've gotten to the point. I was so blessed.
5 years old. They like
literally. I was so blessed for so long, and now they
That's making me stressed. Go
yeah.
on.
So John says, "Oh, I bought us tongue scrapers."
John and I are the same.
First
I
of
just
all,
got those for Mike and I said, "You use it."
He told me that I couldn't say that this was an ick because I was going to get
not an ick at all.
Backlash because it's so healthy.
That's everybody's using tongue scrapers.
I know, and that's exactly what he said, and I get it. That's not the ick. The ick is that I haven't seen this man in a week, and he comes into the bathroom and he like wants to start kissing all over me, and then I see him whip out the tongue scraper.
They always want you in the bathroom.
He whips out the tongue scraper and puts his tongue out and then starts using it.
I don't want to see you tongue scrape.
I saw everything that came off of that tongue scraper.
No.
And he is looking me in my eye like, when I get done with this
eye contact during the
he's looking at me in my eye while he was doing the tongue scraper like, when I'm done with this, I'm coming for you. And I literally ran.
No.
I ran.
Okay, the thing about
I say literally so much when
I mean, it's okay.
I couldn't do it. I said, stop touching me. And then he was like trying to pin me down to like kiss me. And I was like, stop. I was like, I can't.
The thing about scraping the tongue, it's a necessity. It's breath is the biggest sick in the world. So like anything you can do to avoid bad breath, please. Yeah. Tongue scraping being 100%. However, we don't do dental care in front of our partners or vice versa. That includes flossing, tongue scraping. Honestly, these days, don't brush your teeth in front of me. I'll vomit on you. Like,
I actually am like, I like throw up a little when I brush my teeth. I'm so bad. I'm like,
really? I'm saying I'll throw up.
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people, so I would never let John see me brush my teeth.
It's just nothing about it.
Like,
is
I will
attractive.
poop in front of John and not do that.
When Mike flosses in front of me, I draw up papers. I'm like, I don't want to see the popcorn kernel coming out on the string.
Right.
Like,
I saw it all flood down the tongue scraper, and I'm
gonna throw up.
I hope everybody has like some saltines in front of them.
No, quite literally, oh my God, don't tongue scrape in front. That is
with the eye contact.
No, don't look at me while you're tongue scraping.
He's obsessed with teeth, so I think like he was like,
I'm obsessed with teeth.
I think he was like proud that he was doing it, and he like thought I would be proud too. And I'm like,
I will be. What you can tell me you did it. You can report back.
Yeah, like I
Don't
might as
do it
well
in front
wipe
of
your
me.
butt for you.
But I get
Yeah,
it. I'm obsessed with
that's nasty.
teeth. Teeth is like my biggest thing. Like, ask Mike. He's like, "Are you a fucking orthodontist?" I'm like, "You need to tongue scrape, floss." And Mike's never had a breath or a teeth issue. Let me just clarify that. His teeth and breath are always great. But I am like a dentist drill sergeant. I'm like, whiten, floss, because I
You
just,
guys
I
are
guess
the same.
me and John, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I just want to like avoid every dental issue because like
Yeah.
good teeth to me is the biggest turn on. So if
Yeah.
you don't,
It could be the biggest turn off.
yeah, it could ruin.
What is your ick?
my ick? Is kind of in the same vein as all that. I
As
don't know why.
boys just being gross while they're
No,
trying
it's
to be cool.
breathing. So here's
No, not the
here's
breathing.
where I'm getting at.
Oh.
Mike, have you ever seen him? Okay, so attractive man, yes.
I already
Has
know
a
where this
very
is going.
thin nose with nostrils that are 10 inches long because they're so thin. And that has it looks good. I mean, you have a little pin button nose that looks like you can't breathe. We all strive to
Mike
do
does
that.
have a really good nose.
It is good. I'm like, I hope the kids get it.
I was
Like
gonna
the look
ask.
of it.
Yeah, but you also have a good nose. Show everybody your nose.
Thank you. I used to like want a nose job and then
I still want
decided
one.
I liked it. So he has very thin nostrils that have always caused breathing issues. And we've talked about surgery. That's potentially been an option, but like never made moves to actually get it. I got that
because
surgery
you're gonna
forever ago.
literally tell me something that I also have a problem with.
It's like
The mouth breathing.
all like in general mouth breathing.
Yeah.
If I hear
Fuck
your
me.
breath happening like from 5 feet away,
Oh my god.
I will throw my phone at your face. It's in everything. Oh, and the one of the things lately. So
I'm
do
so
these.
scared of you now. I feel like I'm a bad
No.
mouth breather.
No, I haven't noticed that you mouth breathe, and I'll tell you if you do.
But my sisters are always like, "What's so loud over there?" And it's my
well,
breathing.
I probably breathe loud too. I just like
I'm so scared.
and like my nose is stuffy sometimes, but like especially the worst is when I have him film video stuff for me, and when I'm editing the video, I can hear. It's ruined the video before. I'm like, we can't use this take. And then the worst thing, absolute worst, fuck, we're over time, whatever. The absolute worst was that my coworker Brian, I said something to him. I was like, I couldn't use that take because like Mike was breathing loudly or whatever. And he literally goes, "Oh my God, yeah, haha. I've noticed that in past videos that I've helped you edit or whatever. I hear Mike's breathing in the background." And I'm like, oh. Because now it's a thing that other people note. I thought it was just me. But if we're all... So,
Oh, Mike is over here like Darth Vadering.
not that bad. I'm like making it sound so bad.
I've
Poor
never
Mike,
noticed
though.
Mike's breathing.
Yeah, no, it's really not that bad. Like, I'm sure people that spend time, like his coworkers and stuff, would never know or notice.
Right.
But like, sometimes he'll just be like, and I'm like, you sound like Eugene from Hey Arnold, the guy that and I'm Helga punching you from the back like that. That's what I want to do, Helga Pataki. You know how she used to do that? I'm like that. I've literally told him, like, you need to control the mouth breathing. You sound like Eugene. And yeah, I mean, he'll put a Breathe Right strip on at night, and that helps a little. But I'm like, can we get a permanent Breathe Right strip for the day?
Yeah.
Sometimes. It's not always bad. But I also just want him to get surgery. And that's an ick that he hasn't gotten it yet.
Yeah,
like
that
that.
he's not picking up on it.
Well, and I mean, he's like, there's no good time, like the recovery and blah, blah, blah. And I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, I get it.
yeah.
But like, whatever, let's make moves to get that. I get it's probably expensive, but like also.
Mouth breathing is such an ick for so many people.
Well, and here's the thing with the surgery. I don't want it to change the look of his nostrils because we love the thin nose look. I mean, we literally contour our noses to look like his.
Yeah.
But
You guys, if you guys saw Mike's nose, like, it's true. Like,
no, it's thinnest nostrils
like
on the planet.
Mike's
Earth.
nose is what we all use as like whenever we Google or YouTube. I'm so old that I just said that.
Google.
I was gonna say whenever we Google YouTube tutorials, whenever we YouTube tutorials for makeup, like for like nose contouring, like you might find a picture of Mike's nose.
Yeah. Well, but if you look
naturally.
under though, his nostrils are also super thin.
Mine are like that too.
Yeah, yours are kind of
Well,
like
mine's
that.
just deviated,
Yeah.
which is what. No, it's like pretty bad.
See, I have like open nostrils.
So you don't mouth breathe.
But I got surgery
What a
for this.
blessing.
I used to, my nose in like middle school was so clogged. I wouldn't read in class. I wouldn't stand up to talk, believe it or not. I like
Why?
was
You
just
were-
self-conscious about my stuffy nose. I always had a chronic stuffy nose.
No.
It was just always stuffy. Like not even snot coming out, just like nasally bitch. So, and I snored and my it happened into college. My
What is the
freshman
girl
year
from
roommate.
what is the kids show?
What?
Angela, like the blonde girl on.
Courtney.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Fucking what was it? As Told by Ginger.
Oh no, I'm
Ginger.
thinking about the Rugrats. The older sister on the Rugrats, Angelica.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch the Rugrats?
Yes. Did you watch As Told by Ginger?
No, but now I'm gonna.
What?
Also,
The
off
girl,
topic.
Macy on As Told by Ginger used to always be like,
Oh, breathe like that.
yeah. and
I'm
she'd be
gonna go
like,
watch
"Ginger."
it. I'm
You guys
also
know what I'm talking
rewatching Modern Family. So if
it's
anybody
the
wants to
best
do
show
that
ever.
alongside me,
Yeah.
John hasn't
I'm
seen
down.
before. That's a great
That's
part of
an
being
ick.
married. Is it like you can just like if someone else hasn't seen a show that you've seen and it's like so funny, you can just like watch them see it for the first time.
That is my favorite hobby.
really, really love that.
That is my favorite. And if I'm not getting the reaction from him that I want,
I'll
I'm
make him rewatch it.
yeah, I'll be like,
I'm like rewind.
yeah, I'm like, did you see that part? Like,
Turn it up.
react.
I'm like, oh, do I need to pause it?
We're done. Okay, you guys.
This was so
Unfortunately,
fun.
we've got to end because we only booked the space for an hour.
Yeah,
So,
this is on us. We know.
but we could do this forever. But submit your questions. Let us know which topics you want us to cover. We'll talk about it all. And which guests. We need to have guests on.
Yeah.
We're going to have like a therapist. Desperately need that. What the fuck is wrong with this sweatshirt? We need to have like, just for everybody. So email us your questions at honeywe'rehomepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
And then follow us on Instagram at honeywe'rehomepod and like our individual accounts.
Yeah, we should probably say our individual accounts for now
Go.
until we're like better.
No, but by the time this launches,
We'll be fine.
Have Honey We're Home.
Okay, Caroline Crawford Patterson.
Nicole Pellegrino. Oh, at the end is a 0. We love you guys so much.
So much.
Thank you. Haven't
Thanks for
figured out what
listening.
our
Thanks for
sign-off is
watching.
gonna
We
be.
don't have a sign off yet.
If
But
you
we
have an
will
idea
soon
for
enough.
one, let us know because like honestly, we're tired. And
We
we're
really
tired of
like this
thinking.
audience participation in this
Yeah.
little portion of development. But yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about next week. And we can't wait to reconvene. Love you guys.
you.
Bye.
I have to pee so bad.
I'm like about to fall off.
Oh my god.